Among the topics I'll talk about today is how you can acquire in-demand, job-ready skills without the time and expense of a university education. If you're interested, stick around. I'll show you how to do it. Welcome to Balancing the Scales, the Economic Justice Report. This is your host, Vic Bernsdorf, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about these three topics. Talking about Mark Pocan in the new feature I'm calling the Public Service Profile. We're talking about Republican ideology, where ideology matters at all costs, as far as we're concerned. And finally, we're talking about low-cost educational resources as alternatives to college. So, before I get to those topics, let's start with the first one. And like I said, this story is called Public Service Profile. And I'm going to incorporate this profile from time to time as we move into the election in November. Now, why? Well, it should be obvious to all Americans now that with the current president, what's left of our democracy will soon be history if he is re-elected. Okay? So, wouldn't you want to know which political representatives have your back and which ones don't before you go to the ballot box? Or before you send in your ballot? Okay, so, on to our first story. Public Service Profile. This will be about Mark Pocan. Mark Pocan is a Democrat. He's a member of the U.S. House, representing Wisconsin's 2nd Congressional District, and is a lifetime advocate for progressive causes. So, let's start with a short video clip about Mark Pocan.
I'd like to thank the gentleman from Virginia as well, and I rise in opposition to H.R. 6094. There's been a lot of talk about what small businesses think about this law. We put it in the name of the bill. Well, let me give you a perspective of a small business owner for 29 years. I am this week, maybe not right now, they might have left, paying overtime to one of my employees because they're working extra hours, because we're extra busy at this time of year. And you know what that means when I pay them extra money? That means I'm making more money because we've got more hours that we're billing out. And all I'm doing is sharing it with the employees who otherwise are spending less time with their families. That's why we pay overtime pay. It's a pretty basic concept. The problem is, if you delay this rule for 6 months, you will deny Americans $600 million in pay during that time.
Okay, so as you can see, Mark is very passionate about supporting the working people of this country. Let me give you some more details about Mark. Fast food worker strikes. In December 2013, Mark tweeted his support for raising the minimum wage for fast food workers. He also was involved in the SNAP challenge. That was back in June 2013. Mark, along with other elected officials, took part in a SNAP challenge. Remember, SNAP is a new word for food stamps. They would feed themselves for a week on the average benefit level of a food stamp recipient. That was the challenge. Okay? Political participants agreed to eat the same meals of a food stamp participant, which came out to about $1.50 a meal, or about $4.50 per day. Okay? Now, let me provide you some quotes regarding a number of topics important to you and me. This is what you have to say about them. First one's on the budget. This is I quote, "I believe our budget should strengthen Social Security and Medicare and invest in job growth through infrastructure, education, and research and development." End of quote. On supporting seniors, he says, and I quote, "While in Congress, I have made protection of critical programs for our seniors, such as Social Security and Medicare, one of my top priorities." On the topic of national security and veterans, quote, "I emphasize the need to maintain peace and security at home and abroad through diplomacy whenever possible, and I remain committed to ensuring Wisconsin's 400,000 veterans get the benefits that they have earned." End of quote. Now, why did I talk about this last part? Why is he so committed to veterans? Wisconsin, 400,000 veterans get the benefits they deserve. Well, it was in the news a few days ago that Trump is trying to reduce the health benefits of veterans, okay? And Trump's trying to reduce it, and Mark is fighting for the veterans' benefits to get all the benefits that they deserve, okay? Okay, so it should be obvious that this politician, okay, he has integrity, okay, because he has a history of showing that he does indeed serve the people in his district and not corporations. Okay, so on now to our next economic justice story. Okay, for this next economic justice story, I call it, when Republicans, as far as Republicans are concerned, it's ideology no matter what. Okay? I'm going to be both quoting and paraphrasing from the commondreams.org article dated March 19th, 2020. So, let me read you this event that took place regarding expanding paid sick leave. So, this is how things went down. There were 51 Republican senators who voted against expanding paid sick leave to protect Americans. Okay? I'll be quoting now. I quote, Republican senators on Wednesday teamed up to kill an amendment introduced by Democratic Senator Patty Murray that would have expanded paid leave to millions of U.S. workers left out of a bipartisan coronavirus relief package. Every Republican present for that vote voted against the amendment, while every Senate Democrat voted in favor of it. Okay? I quote, 51 Republican senators voted against the amendment, which would have guaranteed 2 weeks of paid sick leave as well as 12 weeks of paid family and medical leave to all U.S. employees and independent contractors. End of quote. Now let me repeat that. Every Republican present for that vote voted against the amendment, while every single Senate Democrat voted in favor of it. In other words, it was the Democrats that were in favor of all U.S. employees and independent contractors receiving sick leave pay, and there were the Republicans who were the ones who ultimately denied U.S. employees those sick leave benefits. Okay? Well, let that sink in for a minute, folks. So now, do you know why I end each show by saying you deserve the government you vote for? Always know who and which political party has your back. Okay? Current law has it that if you work for the government or for a company with fewer than 500 employees, you'll be eligible for 2 weeks of sick leave at your regular rate of pay to either quarantine or seek a COVID-19 diagnosis or preventive care for yourself. Fewer than 500 employees, huh? So all other employees are what? Are they chopped liver? Let's watch this clip from Ring of Fire. Be right back and talk about it.
At the very heart of American conservatism is a deep-seated hatred for American citizens. Now let me explain. We have one party in the United States right now, or at least one more progressive wing of a party, the Democratic Party, pushing to pay people $15 an hour as minimum wage, pushing to have a universal health care program in the United States that covers everybody under a single payer plan. Contrast that with the Conservative Party, the Republicans. They are trying to cut food stamp benefits by $193 billion over the next 10 years. They want to cut Medicaid, health insurance for the poor, by $800 billion over the next decade. They want to increase military spending to enrich military contractors. They want to cut taxes on the top 1%. They want to repeal health care for 22 million people just to give another tax break to the top 1%. So I ask you, which party is more compassionate? Which party do you believe is actually working in the best interest of the American public?
Okay, folks, as I end this segment on Republican ideology over everything else, let's forget about economic justice and the American dream, the twin topics I talk about on my show, which is the core focus of my show. For a minute, let's forget about that for a minute, and let me leave you with this question. After what you just heard from Farron Cousins, who's on the Ring of Fire video you just saw, and from myself talking about this issue, what political party is the one preventing so many Americans from paying their bills while trying to stay safe at home? I'll say it again. Which political party is the one preventing so many Americans from paying their bills while trying to stay safe at home? Okay, let's go on to our final economic justice story. Okay, this last story has to do with educational resources that you can use in lieu of a standard 4-year degree program. We've gotten to a point now in society where technology has gotten so advanced, especially with the internet, right? Because there's so many opportunities to learn outside of the standard, in-class, university setting, okay, where you have to incur thousands of dollars and then spend the next 20 years paying it off, your $50,000 bill or whatever it is. You don't have to do it anymore, okay? I'm going to give you now some resources you can look at and decide for yourself whether they'll be valuable to you. I know they're valuable to me. I know they're valuable to a lot of other people in my family who've used them and have been able to get jobs without taking the college track. So let me go over them, and then I'll tell you my personal story about how I've used some of these options. First off, let's start with the online resources. Okay, I'll name off a couple sources. First one is LinkedIn.com. Next one is KhanAcademy.com. And then one is Udemy.com. And out of those, I like LinkedIn Learning the best. It's an extremely affordable site, and I think I paid like $300 last year for the whole year, and it's all you can learn for that price for that year, right? And I've been learning Visio and Excel and different programs, and really enriched my life. So that's one resource, so check that out. Also Coursera, another one. Second resource you can use besides online learning, there's more, by the way, than just the online learning resources I gave you. There's tons more. So the second resource is your local community college. And check your community college in your state and see if it offers tuition-free college for 2 years. Here in California, that's what's happening. You can get an associate degree for free, tuition-free, that is. You still have to pay for your books and everything, but it's tuition-free. So basically, I'm going to tell my son, go get your associate's degree, right? In the meantime, go on LinkedIn Learning and learn Illustrator and Photoshop and web page design and video editing and whatever, right? And the combination of those two, when you finish your AS degree and you finish those courses from LinkedIn Learning and you have those skills developed, you're job ready. What's another resource? How about free college abroad? If you watch the movie it's not a movie, it's a documentary by Michael Moore. It's a really good documentary called Where to Invade Next. And I watched that, and check it out. It shows you how other countries offer free or very low cost college, and how fiercely those students fight to keep their tuition free or low cost. Okay? So, Germany is one that provides free college for international students and with classes in English. Okay? They keep changing every year, but check it out. I know one of my neighbors got her medical degree in Mexico for a very low cost. So that's another option. You don't have to go to American universities, is what I'm saying. So, free or low cost colleges abroad. And lastly, on my list, like I said, there's many other alternative resources, but this is just my list. I'm putting in a plug for the wastewater and the potable water business, because a stable job is hard to find these days. And you know what? I was fortunate enough in my life to have found the wastewater business, and I was an operator for 17 years. And I'll tell you something, it was the most stable job I've ever had in my life, and the compensation was excellent. The job stability came from the fact that, folks, listen, that job is based not on the economy. If the economy goes down, people out of a job. No, this job, whether you're in the wastewater business or the drinking water business, those two fields are based on human biology. The job safety is inherent in that it's based on biology, human biology, not on the economy. That is why I was so stable. And we had a lot of openings when I was employed in that field. So, may not be for you. It's considered a blue-collar job. But like I said, if you want a job that pays well and extremely stable, check it out. Now, before I leave this topic, I just want to let you know that this advice I'm giving you today on this topic is based on me being in the work world, based on my experiences for the last 45 years. Check all those sources out. Go for it. You know, there's no reason anymore to spend 4 years in college racking up thousands and thousands of dollars of bills, which you may not have a job that pays you enough to pay those loans back. So check out these resources. They're free or low cost, and hope it works out for you. Well, folks, I hope I was able to bring you a new perspective on how to become employable these days without taking the expensive 4-year university route, so you can get in, get out, and get ahead. Well, that's our show for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Next week, I'll be talking about these 3 topics: more and more young people embracing socialism, the best countries to raise a family in, and the Chobani Company. Have a blessed day. Always remember, you really do deserve the government you vote for. So this November, vote wisely. Have a great day.